All right, welcome back here. Calling the Audible, Division C.
Thank you.
Simone, GM. Hi. Eagle, no PZ. PZ is resting his wrist.
He's staying at home because he's ashamed of what he did last week.
Which was what?
His performance in Division C.
Oh, yes.
He's ashamed.
Yes, we'll get to that
He's
soon.
home now, crying alone in his bed. He's probably writing his apology letter again. We all remember what happened.
It's a little too descriptive there. Anyway, Alex Holliwick will join us in this podcast, so we'll recap the week with him. And in that case, we'll talk about the week that was from week 2 in Division C. Gentlemen, what caught your attention from this week's games? Let's start with you, Simone.
Top season, Strangers. Very good offensive shutout. Top season win 54-40. I'm not surprised by the fact that Strangers were able to score 40, but I'm a bit shocked by the fact that they scored 94 together.
Well, hold on here. Let's clarify one thing.
Okay.
So top season was up by almost 28 points.
Okay.
Almost 4 scores.
Yeah, it was like 50-18 or something.
Yeah,
like
it was done, right? And then they just screwed around and left them back in the game.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You still won by 14. The top season won that game fair and square.
No, they crushed them. They took the soul from Junior DeFazio, whatever's left of him in this league, and to show you and I know if Pease was here, he always uses that comparison of like younger, athletic, talented players will always beat the veteran teams, right?
So essentially, they scored in garbage time, is what you're saying.
Well, that's what the Strangers did.
Yes, they did.
But the first half, which was actually close for maybe 12 minutes until they blew it away, there was this moves that top seasons were doing on the field that Strangers were looking at ghosts. Like, they thought a guy was to their right, the guy's blowing right by them on the left. And it was just a completely different level of talent.
The most athletic player on the Strangers team was Junior Sparrow.
Which says a lot for Junior Sparrow being
No. First of all, testament to him because he fucking hustles. There was one play in the red zone where Gino threw a pick, and Junior, as the snapper, was the last man back trying to tackle Jared Taylor and was close when no one else was close on that team.
My man.
If Junior's outrunning you and is the one on your team who can keep up with Jared Taylor, you guys need some work to do.
My man, Junior Sparrow.
Yeah, but that's Gino DeFazio's inability to recruit people anymore.
Look at
It's a good
Sigia, Spera,
Anthony Sigia.
Carm, Jeff
Yeah.
Brown, Adi Sharma.
But young guys, though. No one's going to touch him.
So I think he underestimated the fact that you needed more speed on the team. I think it's not a matter of who he could recruit.
Yeah, but Simone, the higher divisions you go, the higher you up you go in divisions,
he's
the
in the same
better the
division
talent
he was.
is, right?
I just think it's a matter of him underestimating how much speed you need. Like when you look at a guy like Carm, he doesn't need Carm Pelice. He doesn't need speed. He'll beat anybody. And like you give him a post, he's gonna beat the defender regardless of how fast the defender is, because that's who he is. Like that's how he runs his route. That's how he understands.
He'll position in such a way that he will make sure that he is the one in front of the ball and not.
He
the
knows
defender.
he's not the fastest guy, but that doesn't matter.
Okay, so right now, anyone on the Strangers can play on top seasons. Anyone. Right now.
Looking at this roster, Adi Sharma could. Jeff Brown's definitely can.
He can play on top season because there was a play where Gino DeFazio threw a pick 6 to Khalil Kerr, and Jeff said, man, that ball came in so slow that Khalil could walk towards that ball and pick it off.
Well, Kill is also a special player. But yeah, I think everybody on Strangers have a good team overall. I think it's not a matter of, they lack whatever. They might lack a little bit of speed, but they make up for it with very good players around them.
Game that I saw on Monday.
Which one?
Good one. Alpha T's against Mountain Lions.
I heard about that one.
Good. It was good up until midway through the second half. It was a 14-13 lead for the Alpha T's, and they blew out Mountain Lions 36-19.
Ouch.
And I know last season the Tats got off to a slow start, and we all know what happened, right? End up winning. I'm a bit surprised by Mountain Lions, though.
I mean,
I just thought they had so many opportunities to pull away and really get momentum in their favor.
I think
Jake Applebaum had some bad throws in that
Jake
game.
Applebaum, first of all, he's good, but if you've played against him, there's a few teams, there's a few ways to play him that makes him look bad. Like he's not bulletproof, and there's a few things. Defenses like the Alpha T's are gonna make him look bad. So if he gets the Alpha T's, it's just a bad draw for him. Their defense will take away what he does best. And the problem is he doesn't go to different things because the game is not long enough. If the game was longer, maybe he would start to change things up and try different things. But by the time he realizes that certain things don't work, you made too many mistakes and the game's over.
But the thing with Applebaum is that his INTs that he threw 3 of them, weren't like, he threw a deep ball, he pick it off, whatever, right?
No, it's a bad read. It
was a bad reads. Like he threw in traffic.
Yeah, but that's what he does. If you're able to jam guys in lanes that he expects them to be open, because he designs the play for him to be open, and then he reads it in a certain way, and he expects the defense to be sort of similar.
There's
to
no
the next
second
play.
read.
But remember, as kids,
No, it's sort of like pre-snap. Like he plans it properly, and it should work. And if it's not there, he's gonna make that mistake.
So is Jake Applebaum a more talented Tom Gatos?
mind you, Jake Applebaum
Yes.
had a knee injury, right?
Yes,
so he's
and
coming off that.
Yeah, he came off of that. This is a team that he has familiar faces with, but this isn't necessarily his team.
But here's the thing, though,
No, he's
right?
more of a call-up guy. Like they saw opportunity to grab a good Division C quarterback, and he did.
But I remember as kids, our parents told us never to touch the stove when it's on.
Yes.
He just kept on going back to the same thing. Like he just threw into traffic, and it was a bad game. Speaking to someone who was watching it
No,
with me, he goes,
that's what I said.
It's a bad thing, though.
In
Like,
the huddle, he predicts a play to come down to this is what's going to happen, and if it doesn't happen the way he predicted, he makes a mistake.
but here's the thing: when you have Kevin Smuda, who is a giant and athletically gifted,
Yes, but the
who
offense
only
also
gets
have
two.
guys.
Yeah, Alpha's got players, but when Smuda only gets 2 catches for 20 yards and Andrew Lambert gets 1 for 9 yards, that's 3 for 29 yards. That cannot happen. Your top 2 players or best players on that team
Yeah,
should
but
be much more.
Jake
lethal than what they
Applebaum
are.
doesn't necessarily key as much on certain guys as other quarterbacks. He's not the kind of guy who's going to give Kevin Smoot 15 targets.
But I would feed Smuda though.
I would too, but that's not his play style. Maybe he could grow into that. Maybe he could change a little bit, but that's not who he's been recently.
So
he spreads the ball more.
Yes,
so
yeah.
as a starting point, then I think that he needs to lean more into his comfort zone, like go to players that he knows where they're going to be, and even if those routes are interrupted, that he can still throw the ball where only that receiver can get it, like the Marty Friedman.
That's the best party of town.
Yeah,
right now.
Jake had a great connection with him back in the day, and on the Channel 4 News team and on the teams that they've played together with. And I think that that's someone who he needs to really leverage a little bit more on this team when they're struggling.
That's fair.
What games caught your attention, Simon?
I saw the Vikings against Braveview.
Is that an upset in your mind?
No, because Braveview didn't have, first of all, Braveview didn't have the quarterback. Now Lagatier wasn't present. So they brought in Thierry Soyer. He's not a Division C quarterback. First of all, the game was going too fast for him. He wasn't used to it. He's a good athlete, but it didn't work. And you could see it right away. The Braves, you only scored on like a fluke plays where Mac Piercin is just too fast, too elusive for a few guys. But other than that, Vikings really destroyed them. It was never close. I saw the Commission against the Bullies. That was a great game. That was a fun game.
Well, that might have playoffs
Oh, it definitely does.
rematch.
Yeah, it looked, and that game got, I wouldn't say out of control, but a lot of players got frustrated. And if that game is played again, then there might be more than just one OC.
GM, any games that caught your attention?
Yeah, Philp falling short against Keyport Lock.
That was an ugly loss, man. Bad
Keyport
loss.
Lock looked great though.
They look very sound, but Danny DeMore looked like a lost puppy out there in New York City.
But he's also missing.
Lost in New York.
Yeah, Home Alone, great movie.
It feels like he's missing that one stud.
But he's been with his core, though, right?
Yeah,
So
but
it
remember
should-
how we talked about like they had Kevin Smuda before, and he really used him well, and they fed him. Ever since they lost Kevin Smuda, that team has not been the same. Like they do have Jared Buck, who's a good player, but he's not Kevin Smuda, and they don't have that replacement.
And
for him.
Hollowak was that replacement for them in Division
Alex
C, and then
Hollowak,
they and then they brought in Paul Lapierre as well at some point. But it just seems like Danny doesn't seem as comfortable this season compared to seasons past. Like there was,
That could be a bunch.
I had one player who was watching the game, and he said, "This guy plays Division C quarterback."
Oh, we know who that player is.
Who's that?
I was there when he said that to you.
And it was on Monday. You weren't there on
It was on
Monday.
Tuesday at Brossard before the games. I was there with you.
wasn't Tuesday. It was Monday. No.
No, it was Tuesday. We were at Brossard together.
No, wait a minute.
Tell us the story then.
It was
Simone.
on
No.
Monday. It was a Monday.
No,
it was
it's
not
not.
Tuesday.
No, it was not. I won't because it's not
Friends
nice.
in Low Places played Monday.
Yes, but the player who said that was on Tuesday, and we were together at Brossard.
Can you write down the name on your piece of paper? See if we're on the same page.
Okay.
Just say it out loud.
I don't
Anyway,
want to throw him
okay.
under the bus. It's not nice.
No. The player said no. There's no way he's a Div C quarterback. There's no way he is.
I mean, that's not nice.
Okay.
About Danny Damore, right? Like he's a borderline D1 receiver DB. I think he's a Div C quarterback. I think he's good enough. I just think it's a matter of chemistry, either with the receivers. He might have a few bad weeks. It happens to people, man. It's only been 2 weeks. It's not like we're week 9 and he had 9 bad weeks in a row. It's just it could be a bunch of things. It could be something personal in his life. It could be showed up to games tired. There's a bunch of things that could happen.
By the way, Jagerbomb, huge, impressive victory. Another heart attack win for them. Come from behind.
Is it though like a impressive victory? I thought Jagerbomb should have been in control of that game more.
Well, look, Lights Out were up by, I believe, 10 points.
Okay, so Lights Out. So first of all, Jagerbomb cannot cover Muggins. Let's be honest. There's no way that could happen. But the problem is Lights Out as a quarterback problem.
Drew Kyler's not the guy. He's not the answer.
They have a quarterback. First,
Kyler, sorry.
he didn't have a lot of help. There was a few bad drops by guys like Omar Jackson.
He had an awful drop on the
Ooh,
last drive.
that on the last drive
was
was
not
bad.
good.
It was bad. A
That
lot
was
of people
not
were
good.
frustrated with that, including Omar, I'm pretty sure. But overall, I just don't think he's the solution for a team that this team is too good not to be more successful.
But this is how the team is built, though. This team is that good because they have the cap space with Drew at quarterback.
But
They're
you have
able to
Isaiah-
get these guys on this team because of that
right.
cap space at
But
quarterback.
you have Isaiah Lillard, who had a monster game.
Yeah.
Russian.
you have 3 guys
Simone
that are
Duchesne.
borderline Division 1. Well, you have 2 Division 1 players in Jamalkins and Isaiah Lard, and you have Omar Jackson who's a Division 2 player.
Oh, he would take that personally. He thinks he's a Div 1 player.
Okay, doesn't matter. And on top of that, the rest of the guys,
Come,
not,
Keegan.
like the rest of the team's not bad. Like that team is good, man.
They're a very good team. But
But-
quarterbacks
Yeah,
will hold
but
them
they have a
back.
quarterback problem.
Major quarterback problem. I know we have quarterback of the year in all the divisions we have.
Mhm.
But if we had an MVP, would Simone Duchesne be an MVP candidate with
Oh,
what he does?
That run,
Oh yeah.
that one run,
When
yeah,
he
for a
broke
touchdown.
ankles.
Or
Like,
even,
oh,
but like
man.
for his team, you could put a ton of other quarterbacks on Jagerbomb, and they would not be nearly as successful as Simone Duchesne is with the guys he has around him.
He's very good, man. Like
He is underrated for his talents that no one knows. That
He-
And
he
we
is
and
good.
we say that every season, and it still doesn't come close because we know like the value
so
he
good.
brings to his team.
He's definitely Jagerbomb's MVP. Although they have like very talented players, Simone is underrated. Jeff Dalloz is very good, but Simone Shine is just special with that group.
Gentlemen, let's talk about some of the league topics here. All right, we have 6 teams at 2-0 now.
Okay.
And I know PZ was supposed to do this power rankings with you, Simo, so we'll have
So-
GM jump in there. So I know we have 6 teams. Tats, JYD, Top Season Commission, Jagerbomb, and now Blue Chips, all at 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
One's on the outside looking into the top 5. Which of the 6 teams is number 6 in the 2-0 power rankings?
In the 2-0 power rankings.
2-0
Yeah,
power
out of the 6
Um,
teams.
I'm in the boat of too early to tell for JYD. They're 2-0, but I think their strength of schedule comes into play here. But I'm not ready to write them off just yet. I still think that I think that they're good. I think they're going to continue to be good, but it's a little bit presumptive to lump them in with the top of the division right now.
I think JYD's good, man. That roster, it has a lot of depth. It has the right weapons for Jason Rossi. I like Junkyard Dogs. Even if their offense doesn't produce, their defense is going to be good.
But you need an offense to produce, especially in C.
Yes, you do. But
And we've seen him struggle before.
Yeah,
so
he's not
I'm
flawless.
optimistic for this team as well. I just think it's early to lump them in with the top.
I think JYD, their biggest, I think they'll take out Lobster Dinner at Papineau Monday. And then
they'll clean them out.
they'll play the Alpha Tees on June 4th, and that will be a good.
That'll be a
test for
good
them.
yardstick.
I think that's a tough matchup for them, just matchup wise. But
Then
I have-
conceivably they're not at the top of the division if they have tough matchups.
I think yeah, Junkyard Dogs is like it's in my book they're the 5th because Commission is out of the top 5.
Yeah. So
you think commissions that? Why is that?
I actually had that too. I have here for tied for my 5th is either JYD/Commission because they're both trailing.
What
off.
are the flaws for? I thought we said last week Commission was a better team now than they were winter.
Yes.
You said that.
I said that.
They-
but I
this-
think
yeah, that's still
we
correct.
reaffirmed that.
Yeah, that
Just
doesn't mean-
because
yeah.
they are doesn't mean that they're better than the other 4 ahead of them.
Two things can be true. I saw them play against the Bullies. They play well. They have good players, but there's something missing.
What is that missing piece?
I don't think it's a missing piece. I think it's as a whole there's something missing where they don't check all the boxes in my opinion. They have very talented guys. GF Marquis is able to use all of his receivers. I just don't think they have like that special thing.
Magical
about them.
formula to say
Yeah,
they can take it to the next level. If they're having a bad game, they can just turn it on.
I think they're going to be strong against most teams, but when they're going to play the top tier teams, blue chips, tops is in the Alpha T's, they're going to have a tough time and they're going to lose by 2 scores.
Jim, would you agree with that?
Yes, I think we agree on pretty much everything. So I'm just curious about the top 2 for Simo. Who do you put first, top season or blue chips?
Can
The
I give you
Alpha
mine?
T's.
Oh.
Really?
Oh,
The Alpha T's first, blue chips, then top season. Then
Okay.
Jaeger Bomb, then Junker.
Why is Alpha T's better than?
because
Number two,
they
number
have a
three.
bunch of championships in lower
I
divisions.
mean, look at last winter. They have basically the same team against basically
Minus
these
Brian
teams.
Mongeau, who is not
Against
like-
basically these teams, and they did win. Like that team is, it feels like every season, the first 5 or 6 weeks, they don't really care and they show up and they play their game and they have fun, and they know when week 9, 10 comes around, they start playing well, and then they flip a switch in the playoffs and they're monstrous.
I'll ask Eagle to look it up here for top season's playoff victories in the winter this past year. I believe they beat a variation of top season in the playoffs at Hebert. I think it was the semifinal or conference final game here. So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for that. But
I think
right today,
as of today, I think the Alpha T's is the best team. I don't think they will finish number 1. in the power
my
rankings
my
by the
best
end
team
of
is
the
top season.
but then they're not. Okay, you mean like after 2? Gotcha.
After 2
Yes,
weeks,
Eagle.
after today.
for
they're the
the
best.
So-
same reason I said the Junkyard Dogs after 2 weeks.
Yes, Eagle.
So Alpha T's beat top season 27-26 week 2, and then in the semifinals,
They crushed them, right?
they beat him 45-42.
Right,
It's
but
not
it
bad.
was a 2-score game. I remember until they late in the game when they came back.
Well,
Sure.
I still think that like as of today, after 2 weeks of play, the Alpha T's is the team to beat.
I have top season as my best team. I've seen them. I watched them twice so far, and they look so much more relaxed and confident than in years
They
past.
should listen. They had a very good. They had a very strong winter season, but it was one of those seasons where it finally happened for them last winter. Now they kind of know what to expect coming in, and they kind of know what to do, and it's easier the second time around.
GM, who's your number 1 team?
Top season. Top season followed by blue chips. Alpha T's don't even make top 2.
And they'll play each other this week. Blue Chips
Yep.
versus top season. And by the way, Blue Chips had some choice words for top season, which we'll get to after we speak to Alex Hollowak here on Calling the Audible.
On the Sportira guest line are brought to you by Sportira, the official suppliers of FPF uniforms and jerseys, as well as the home to the Sportira cage. Are you not getting your stats because your jersey is so beat up that the scorekeeper can't read your number? Don't be that guy on the Flag Plus football wall. We all know who you are. And get yourself or your team a fresh new look today by emailing info@sportira.com for quotes and details.
All right, welcome back here to Calling the Audible. Our guest now is the man who dominates the scoreboards and the scorekeeping on Thursdays or on Wednesdays at St. Laurent. It is Alex Hollowak. Good evening, Alex. How are you doing today, sir?
Hello, fellas. I'm
on,
doing
man?
well, thank you. Hey, Simon, Mo, GM.
Hey.
Nice to get on and chat with you guys. Mo, thanks for the introduction that made no sense whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it nonetheless.
All right, Hollow, we're talking, and I'll ask you the key question because the big game is this Sunday with top season versus blue chips. We're talking about top 5 power rankings of the 2-0 teams. And so Simon had the Alpha Teams as his number 1 ranked team over top seasons and blue chips. Meanwhile, GM and I had the same thing with top seasons being our number 1 ranked team. Who is your number 1 ranked team in Division C from the 2-0 rosters?
Well, to be the champ, you have to beat the champ. And the champ in my mind right now out of this list is definitely the Alpha T's. They have the poise, they have the history, they have the championship pedigree. Until they're dethroned and supplanted by one of the other contenders, they're definitely the number one for me. Top Season's great team. Had a chance to see them firsthand this week. Very explosive, very impressive all around the board. Added extreme depth with Justin Edwards this offseason, probably the best pickup in the whole division. Still, until I see them supplant Alpha T's, give me the Alpha T's every week.
Another question, a follow-up to this question we had here. We had 6 teams at 2-0. So we had the top 5. Who's your 6th team out of the bunch? So you have Tats, JYD, Top Season Commission, Jagerbomb, and Blue Chips. Who is your 6th best team on the 2-0 roster?
They're going to hate me for this one, but I have to, I'm going to list the commission there. Until they find a way to start putting points on the board more regularly, the defense has been bailing them out. Super gritty so far through 2, but this is IFPF is an offensive powered league. We all know that, and 44 points through games is not elite. So the commission are my 6th out of the 2-0 teams.
Hey, Allo. So there's currently 5 teams at 0-2, right? There's Game Changers, Backyard Bullies, Friends of the Places, Lights Out, and formerly known as the Browns, now known as Moist.
Because we were supposed to have Browns jerseys, or at least Browns T-shirts, and our man Terry Tam, in looking at the catalog for like that sort of Browns orange, picked a color, and it came and it was very peach, very very peach.
Well, it's nice color.
Yeah, it's a very nice color, so that's why we're going with moist.
Moist.
Okay. So out of these 5 teams, who would you put as the one that has most chances of bouncing back?
Well, so I'll first list who I think has the least chances of bouncing back, and that's definitely going to be pointed at GM and the Moist squad. I mean, I don't have any idea what these guys are doing. They show up with salmon-colored shirts with a team name called the Browns on week 2, and they start talking about how they're going to change their team name. I mean, most teams have already decided that like a month before the season began, so they're still trying to pick their team name. This team is just completely out of wax, so they look a little bit hopeless to me. But all jokes aside, the team that I think the most surprising out of those winless teams so far is definitely Braves U. With that roster, with that upper division experience, I expected them to come out a lot more fierce out of the gate, especially defensively within the division. They have 63 points allowed in 2 games. Not the worst, but also I expected them to clamp down a little bit more on that side of the ball. Once they get a bit more stability on offense, maybe if Leandre Etier, who I'm not sure is confirmed or not if he's their primary quarterback for the season. Yeah. But he was great back in the day with Boudet. So once he gets a few games under his belt and he starts rolling and they get some chemistry, I think this might be one of those low-key teams to creep up the rankings pretty quickly.
I think after John Maheu and Mike Pierce saying there's a sharp drop off on this team, and I don't think it'll be enough to sustain them long term.
Well, they have a few guys like Samuel Junio. He's new, but he's good. Jean-Christophe Bouvret is also good. There's a bunch of guys who just don't know them because they don't have a rating, right? Like they don't play 2 games. One of them was without a quarterback, so it's tough to actually say this guy's a good player. I agree with you. Although Braves U could be a very good team by the end of the season.
I think when you look at guys like Maher and Piercin, these are elite competitors. They're great players, but they're also elite competitors in Division A and Division 1. So I think they're going to bring that kind of play with the heart on their sleeve and bring that competition to this division. And I think it's going to start to pay dividends soon and start to overwhelm some of those lower teams moving up to Division C for the first time. And every season you always get those teams who show up a little bit more lax than others. Case in point, Moist. Exactly. So I think the Braves U, once they get firing on all cylinders, they're going to start to overwhelm some of those back half teams.
Alex, let's go to the nerve of the situation here. What is wrong with Philp? What has happened with Friends in Low Places? Why have they regressed? And what is wrong with Danny Demore? Why has he not taken that next step as a quarterback?
Well, Mo, there ain't nothing wrong with Philp. We're just some growing pains. We have some new additions to the roster this season so far. Myself, François Delorier. So it's just a readjustment period and trying to get acclimated with his new pieces, right? So it's definitely not been an ideal start to the season for us, but I don't think that we're going to be down in the dumps too long. We also faced some tough competitors, Keyport Lock, a perennial favorite in Division C, Division 4, and Commission, who are 2-0, have that elite style defense right now. So once the schedule softens up a bit and once we get a little more chemistry, I think we're going to start to find our rhythm a bit. As I've played on a lot of teams in my past in FBF, so looking at this roster from top to bottom, I'm not concerned from a talent level. In terms of Danny, I don't want to reveal too many secrets of the trade, but Danny was maybe trying to do a little bit too much, calling both sides of the ball the first 2 games of the year, especially when we had an elite play caller like Francois Deslauriers, who I have I'm not shy to say, I think is top 5 play caller defensively in all of FPF. And it was just a kind of transition period where we're getting Frank adapted to the players on our roster, and he's going to figure out how to move them in the right way. So Danny was still calling defense, but as of this week, we're going to transition over to Frank as a full-time defensive caller, allowing Danny to focus all of his energy on offense.
Actually, I was going to flip that on its head and ask you the question: if Danny continues to struggle at quarterback, considering how well Francois is doing in Division D right now, is there A, the cap space, and B, the possibility of having a switch at quarterback in this instance, where putting Francois behind center and Danny at receiver? Interestingly enough, GM, to that point, Danny is going to be away in 2 weeks' time, so week 4. So if Philip enters week 4 with an 0-4 record, or if that would be, week 5, I guess, would be the one he's throwing, with an 0-4 record, and Francois Deslauriers finds his way to deliver a victory, I think that'll be definitely an interesting conversation for the guys on the Philp side to have at that point. Hopefully that can all be avoided, and I'm just kind of being facetious at this point. I think that Danny's going to do his thing starting this week. We all know the kind of elite competitor and baller that Danny can be, so I don't think there's going to be an issue with that. But we you know what, Frank's one of those versatile kind of three-way players that can get it done, and he's destroying Division D from all the reviews that I've gotten so far. So kudos to him, and we definitely have one of the premier backup quarterbacks in the division. That's always good to have as well.
Speaking of QB controversy, so Bearskins, we all know Bearskins as a team. They always had like Neil Addison as a quarterback. They used to have Sasha Papich as a monster two-way player. This season they switched over to Mark Belvedere and Vinny Milano. What would you rather have, Neil Addison with the Sasha Papich combo or Belvedere with Milano?
Ooh, that's a great question, Simon.
You're welcome, Alex. I was going to thought
if
that
Vinny
question,
yeah, I kind of doubt that somehow, Mo.
It's on the script, my friend. It's on the script. I thought that question.
You know what? That's a tough question because we all saw Bearskins. They marched through divisions. Well, they didn't. They had a great playoff run through Division C last year. A solid overall team, and that Net Edison to Papich hookup, when it's on, it is a thing of beauty. Like Edison would air up a rainbow that nobody in the building could touch besides Papich, who would run past everyone, extend those long arms, box out the defender, and reel it in before tapping his feet in the back out of bounds line. They would go 40, 50 yards with that pass anytime they wanted to. But this year you have a different kind of connection. We see Belvedere cutting up the middle of the field in that intermediate area to Vinny Golano, who's a vastly underrated talent at receiver. We forget that this guy is a Hall of Famer, and he's not just a Hall of Famer for being a great quarterback. He's also a fantastic two-way player. So right now, from what I see from these two guys after 2 weeks, I will take Belvedere and Vinny Golano to help elevate the Bearskins to the next level in the division over their former duo. I think this is just fantastic football these two guys are playing together.
Hashtag free Vinny.
And don't forget, hashtag free Vinny. And don't forget, there's a guy by the name of Marco Bertoli there who's like
he's
the
kind
premier
of okay,
Bearskin
right?
player,
Yeah.
and he hasn't even really gotten started yet. So once they need it, I'm sure they'll start using it more. But once Bertoli starts getting into the mix, that's going to be a very strong duo offensively in this division.
All right, Halawak, we'll get you off. We'll get you on this last question here. Heavyweight fight. Blue Chips top season this Sunday in Lachine. Both teams 2-0. Blue Chips best defense, top season prolific offense year. I asked the guys from Blue Chips your thoughts on top season. They go, we don't care who they are. It'll be another game for us. Your thoughts on how this game plays out this weekend?
I think that the top seasons are an elite, talented team in this division. I think that Blue Chips, if you had told me this matchup was 2 years ago in Division C as well, Blue Chips were a type of team that would crumble under the pressures of the heavyweight bout. But I think Blue Chips have matured, and I think that the last couple of seasons we've really seen Jordan Mitchell diversify as a quarterback. He's spreading the ball out. He's passing more. He's still primarily a running quarterback, but he's learned how to work the passing tools around him. Give me Blue Chips in this early part of the season to overtake top seasons, and I think that might be a good thing for top seasons as well, to kind of take that first loss early on, forget about the undefeated and all the glitz and all the glamour of that brings, and focus on getting better each week. But I think that the Blue Chips are going to stand by their word and deliver victory this week.
If I put the point spread at 6.5, do they cover Blue Chips?
Minus 6.5 Blue Chips?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to take top seasons with the points. If you're going to give that much, it's going to definitely.
It's a close game then in your mind.
It has to be. It has to be. These two offenses are both too prolific to be kept to a low-scoring game. I think this is going to be kind of one of those shootouts, especially having seen what top season did this week to Gino DeFazio's team and Carmen Polici, just tearing a hole in their defense. Blue Chips, a completely different beast, right? They're far more talented defensively, but I definitely think that both offenses are going to kind of put up some points in this one. It's going to be under 6.5.
See you on Wednesday. See you Laurent, Alex.
See you there, Mo.
Alex, go on,
See you
buddy.
then. Alex Holloway.
Have a good night, guys.
You too. Alex Holloway with his thoughts. He's got the Blue Chips winning. Gentlemen, looking at this game here before we make our picks in games of the week. Your keys in this matchup. Blue Chips not missing any words. They don't care who top season is. They think they can roll through these guys with ease. Will that be the case on Sunday when they meet up on the Sheen?
Listen, I like the matchups across the board because you top season as the rusher able to take away Jordan Mitchell's quickness and Kalilker. He's one of the rare guys in FPF altogether that can do it. They also have the right matchups for a guy like Sanders.
Yeah.
With
Justin
Edwards on both sides of the ball. They're gonna match up against each other, and they have the similar size, similar play style. So essentially, we have a matchups of. It's a good comparison. They have the same sort of traits. Now, what I think top season has the edge on is the Jared Taylor effect, where I don't think Jordan Mitchell is as good as a pocket passer as Jared Taylor is. But how will the entire thing play out? We'll see.
Can Jordan Mitchell win this game with his legs, given the amount of F1 speed on that top season defense?
With his legs, I don't think so, because it's Khalil rushing him. It's not going to be, say, Jared Taylor or someone else like that. The only I would have said that if Jordan was to run every second play, it would be to tire out whoever the rusher is. But there's enough depth on the top season team that Khalil as a receiver, even if he's not targeted because he's tired from rushing and being worn out by Jordan, there's still the receivers in Justin Edwards. The depth across the board there for top season to come out with this.
All right, it's now time for games of the week. I really want to catch Eagle eating the cake as I announced that, but he's ready to
Took
go.
too long.
So here we go, Eagle.
I knew it was coming too.
I know. I was like, man, I want to catch Eagle eating that cake and having ice on his lips, and he looks like.
You realize though that he's the only one we don't have the camera on.
I know. Right? Looks like Ashley Larry and of course Dave Chappelle.
So you guys just did the analysis. Let's get some picks on the line here. Top season Blue Chips.
With Mo's 6.5 spread.
No spread.
No spread.
No
Okay.
spread.
Top season.
I got top season running these guys off.
I'm gonna take top season because of Kalilker.
Let's go with Friends in Low Places versus Jaegerbomb.
Give me the bomb.
Jaegerbomb.
2 weeks in a row, the Jagerbomb have won on literally with a heart attack style of victory. Give me the Bombers to win.
All right. Let's go with Strangers versus Brocazon.
Oof,
Give me
both
Strangers.
teams are.
Give me Strangers. They'll put up their offense. Puts up points.
Yeah, I like Strangers for this one as well, considering Brocasian are dealing with like a season-ending injury.
Yeah.
Justin
Their biggest
Santola,
playmaker.
Yeah, this is going to be a stranger victory in a close one. I believe it's going to be close. I think it'll be a 4 or 5 point victory coming out to extra points. Anything else? That's it.
We do 3 games. Want a fourth one?
Go fourth one. Go for one more.
All right, let's go. Junkyard Dogs, Lobster Dinner.
The dogs.
The dogs.
I think I'll run these guys off the field. Magic words, please.
There's still one more show, man.
Peasy. See you next week, pal.
No, we won't. We won't.
Blue Chips top season, man. This week
I mean-
game.
I mean, we have to stop seeing him. He's terrible at football.
We'll see him on Sunday.
You heard about it, didn't you? Right? Like, it was bad.
That was awful.
It was terrible.
Poor awful.
Man, you can't one of him and Steph Berardi makes fun of you. It's a bad night for you.